Alright, what's up guys? This is NinjaDeathStrike bringing you another Pokemon TCGO battle, and back to the Chandelure deck just because it's what I played today, and I figured I may as well try to get a decent match if I'm going to play. Didn't feel like making a new deck, so we've got this one instead. But it is kind of a unique match just because of the deck I end up facing. It's a deck we haven't seen on my channel for a long time. So anyhow, here I get the Lone Cleffa start, which is always a little bit scary. Tyrogue is once again running rampant in a lot of decks, and then there's the whole CMT thing. But actually, my opponent opens Durant, and this is probably the one case where I'm really happy to have a Lone Cleffa start. It means it let me see that I'm up against Durant right away, and that is obviously going to change the game plan right off the bat. So my opponent opens, he goes for dual ball here, gets one heads, and I guess this first search is going to take him a little while. I assume he's just looking through his deck to see what he has, but obviously he's going to end up grabbing a Durant here, and it turns out he doesn't actually play Collector at all. It looks like his entire Pokemon engine is just going to be dual balls and level balls, and that's something I really don't agree with in Durant decks. I know a lot of people have really been cutting down on Collector for dual ball just for the speed. I think it's fine in decks like CMT where you're running all basics and you don't really ever need a full bench, but anything where you need to fill your bench space up pretty quick, I still think Collector is the way to go. And as far as Eels go, and especially with Durant, I really think Collector is the better play over Dual Ball. As you can see here, he has two Dual Balls, but he actually still only gets to get two Pokemon. So if one of those had been a Collector, he would have had all of his Durants out on turn 1 and hit a Devour. Turn 1 Devour for 4, which is really strong in Durant. But instead, he's got to settle for 3. Still not too bad of a start at all. Anytime you get a solid Devour on turn 1, you're off to a good start. Anytime you don't start Rotom, that's always a plus. So since I know I'm facing Durant, I'm actually going to go right for a Vulpix here. Normally, I would probably get a Litwick and then use Call for Family to get the Vulpix down, but I'm just going to go straight for Vulpix because Ninetales actually makes a really good attacker against Durant. I do play the Burn Tower down here too. It's possible some Durant builds play Battle City. I don't think that's a very good card in the deck, but I have seen it. But if he has it, it's probably only a one of, and I would actually really like having Burn Tower in this deck since it'll help me out when the inevitable crushing hammers start falling. So right here, I'm going to just switch into Vulpix, go for the Singe, and I flip a Tails. So some of you guys might have noticed I've switched the Vulpixes that I use. I like this one better just because you don't have to discard an energy with the attack. The other one in Reshi Flosion is actually a lot better because you can get the energies back from the discard a lot more readily, but here sometimes it can be a problem, especially when you need to retreat. If you start with a Vulpix, you can't really go for an attack and then flip a Tails and have to get rid of your energy. So this one, you don't have to do that. That's why I have it in there. And Burn is annoying, so that's always nice if you can pull it off. But he doesn't do a whole lot here. Just attaches an energy to the fresh Durant since I catchered that one up and then passes. And here I'm actually going to make a little bluff. I do have the Sharon in my hand. I don't really feel that I need it right now, and I also have the level wall, but I'm not going to go for it. And the reason I do that is just in case he has an N. If I don't do anything on my turn, there's a chance he'll think I just have a dead hand, and he'll opt to go for another supporter instead of the N. I didn't really need to play any of those cards either, so it's not like it was that big of a problem to go out of my way, but I didn't want to go for the level ball and reveal that I was getting Ninetales, because then if he had N, he would definitely play it. And since that's really the only card I need, there's no need to play the Sharon either, so we may as well just keep him in hand. And actually hit heads on the burn flip here, so he's going to be forced to retreat to try and preserve damage on his Durant, and that's actually going to come into play later in the match. That 20 damage from the burn turns out to be pretty important. So here, now that I can attack this turn, I am going to grab a Ninetales, go ahead and evolve, and then Ninetales is actually a really great attacker in the Durant matchup, go figure, because Will-O-The-Wisp will hit for 120. That means that Durant is going down no matter how many Eviolite, Special Metal Energy. It's not going to matter. Durant's not going to be able to survive. So I actually hit a rare candy. So I have Litwick Rare Candy Chandelure in my hand, and that's actually really, really good, because as great as an attacker as Ninetales is, I don't think that was a right sentence, as great of an attacker as Ninetales is, it is very susceptible to Rotom, since it takes 3 energies to attack, and only has 90 hit points. If Durant plays Rotom with Black Belt, they can take Ninetales out in one shot. Obviously, Mewtwo causes it problems too, since DCE on Mewtwo and 3 energy on Ninetales is 100 damage, so if they have a Mewtwo EX, that'll kill it. So it is a little risky to have Ninetales be the only thing you really have in play, and the fact that I was able to get that Litwick combo is going to be really great. So right now you can see he's just going for Crushing Hammers out the wazoo. That was his second one, I believe, and now he's got one here too. So he's already junk armed for 1, and then he's got another one here eventually with the Oak. He does. I think he gets his. Well, I mean, he does get his last Durant out this turn, and I'm pretty sure he has a revive too. So he actually gets the 4-card Devour here, which is obviously ideal for him. I'm just hoping that he doesn't hit more than 1 heads on the Crushing Hammers, because if that happens, obviously I won't be able to attack next turn, as I do take 3 energy to attack. Kind of the same problem with Zekrom. Yes, it's guaranteed to Oko Eels, or not Eels, Ants the whole time, but it does take 3 energy, which is quite expensive, especially with so many Crushing Hammers. So there's the third one this turn, and that's going to take me down to 1, so next turn I will not be able to attack. However, since I got off to such a strong start, I feel okay. I still have quite a few cards to go through, and I'm going to be able to take these Ants out pretty quickly. On top of that, he's gone through, well, at this point I guess he's used 2 Crushing Hammers and a Junk Arm, so he still has quite a few resources left, but he's not going to be able to keep streaming those Crushing Hammers turn after turn. There's only so many of them he can play, and once he's out of those, I'm good to go. So he takes a long time to think about what he wants to do here. I just pull up his info. He's got a ton of cards, but not too many wins, so maybe he's just a collector before he started playing, or I don't know, maybe it's because of things like this right here. So he's going to get real greedy here. He's actually going to Junk Arm for a Crushing Hammer again, and he discards a Junk Arm with his Junk Arm, and I really, really don't like that play. I mean, he gets tails. Even if he had hit heads, it wouldn't have been that vital for him to take another energy off of me. There's already no way I can attack this turn. And so yeah, I pull up his discard pile here, and he's got 3 Junk Arms and 2 Crushing Hammers in the discard pile on turn 3. So he's already burned through a ton of resources, and that is just fantastic for me. It's just going to make my job easier. So there you go right there. Burn Tower coming into play. I think about playing the energy retrieval. I guess I do because yeah, I've got a ton of energy in there now, so I figure I may as well go ahead and get that out. And I can't attack this turn, so I'm just going to have to pass, but I'm feeling pretty good. That was a rough turn for me, but he played his hand down to 1, and he just burned so many resources there. And you can see here he doesn't have a supporter. He's lucky to have the revive to get that 4th ant, but beyond that he can't do anything. So he's basically in top deck mode here, which is fine with me. I'm going to go ahead and get Ninetales ready to go, and there we go. There's the rare candy into Chandelure. So now Chandelure's down. I don't care if he catches that thing out. Chandelure only takes 1 energy to attack, so Crushing Hammer won't be effective against him since I can just attach from my hand. There's Crushing Hammer again. That's the last one I think he has. Maybe no, I guess he's got 1 more in there and 1 more Junk Arm. But anyhow, yeah, Chandelure not really susceptible to catcher since he only takes 1 energy to attack, especially with Burn Tower in play. Thanks to Burn Tower, I have a 50% chance to just get the energy back every turn, which is really great. So here, I just decide that I'm going to get a little bit aggressive. Like I said, needing 3 energy to attack isn't ideal, even though he only has 2 more potential Crushing Hammers at most, and he's completely in top deck mode. I decided to switch gears a little bit here, go into Chandelure and start attacking with him. The reason being I can spread damage, so I have the potential to knock out multiple ants in 1 turn, and that is something that Durant just really can't handle. You know, it's got to revive those ants every turn to try and devour for 4 as often as possible. I have no catcher bait on my bench. You know, Ninetales only has 1 retreat cost, so there's no problem with that. Even if somehow he was able to get a catcher and then hit both of his remaining Crushing Hammers, I would still be okay because I have that fire energy in my discard pile, or in my hand, so there's no way he'd be able to prevent an attack coming in next turn. And obviously catching out Cleffa is not going to accomplish anything, so he's really stuck. He probably doesn't know that. He can't see my hand, but at this point I know that the game's pretty much over, which is always nice. You know, Durant matchups are a lot harder than a lot of people assume. It's not just about getting an attacker up and pounding away. It really comes down to Crushing Hammer flips most of the games. If you get off to a slow start and they hit Crushing Hammers, it doesn't matter what deck you're playing. Obviously I'm playing Fire here, so have a bit of an advantage, but really Durant can beat any deck. It doesn't matter what it is, just because it can really cripple you with the energy denial. But luckily here, things worked out for me. We all get to enjoy some good ant smashing, and I'm going to check my discard pile here just to make sure I have a catcher in there. In fact, I do, and since that first Durant took burn damage way back at the beginning of the match, that means that it is actually going to be in range for a Flame Burst knockout. The active one has 60 because it got hit with Flame Burst last time, so I'm just going to catch her up, the fresh one. That way I can hit it for weakness. I'll do 50 to that, 30 to the 2 on the bench, and that is going to kill 3 ants in 1 attack. So taking out Durant with style this match. 3 kills, clear the field of the ants in 1 fell stroke, and that is going to be the match. So let me know what you guys thought. As always, I will be playing around with some decks, and I will have a new match coming your way shortly. So thumbs up if you liked the video, feel free to leave me a comment, and thanks for watching, guys.